of now all the sales happening at the point of sale. I mean, what is your fair tax plan?
Well, my fair tax plan is the fair tax. It's the consumption. So for those listening, watching, get online, fairtax.org. It does away with the 16th Amendment. No more income tax and no more withholdings from your payroll check. So, Alex, Social Security, Medicare, unemployment comes out of the proceeds of the fair tax.
No, I understand, but I mean, you're pledging that this would not happen unless we did get rid of the income tax.
That is part of the fair tax package, which 90 congressmen and women have signed on to this point. So the discussion or the template is there.
I know, but notice Neil Bortz even pushed that, but then as soon as it got down to the point, it was 999, and they left out the other 9. It just makes my head hurt to think.
Well, no, this 999 is something completely different.
No, I know it is, but I'm saying that's what they're going to end up pushing is, we're not going to call it the income tax, but we're going to call it a Social Security tax.
Well, it wouldn't be a Social Security tax because the proceeds of Social Security come out of the proceeds of the fair tax. Now, you're right to criticize the finer points of all this, but to go to a one federal consumption tax is really a vast improvement over what we currently have. And imagine abolishment of the IRS and the ramifications that will have on the economy, that all of us don't end up spending months out of the year dealing with our taxes. No,
I hear you. Let's go to some phone calls. Former New Mexico Governor Gary Johnson's our guest. He's the Libertarian presidential candidate, 2012, GaryJohnson2012.com. Or you can do the big boy thing and support Mitt Romney or Obama. You can grow up, like one editorialist said, of people that wouldn't compromise. Folks, compromising has gotten us here. And if it was real compromise, I might be for compromise occasionally. But all we hear is compromise, like Gary was saying, work together. No, that means you give up ground to big government, regulations, nanny state. That was my last question. I promise we're going to calls, Governor. What is your take on the orgy of nanny state? Dogs have got to be in seatbelts or have or licenses for a paddleboard in Minnesota. Jesse Ventura's in Forbes talking about that. Talked about it 2 days ago here, Governor Ventura. We've got can't have popcorn, want to ban milk products in New York, banning soft drinks. I mean,
hopefully I'm speaking the obvious here. Bloomberg comes out, talks about sodas and the fact that they're unhealthy, drinking a soda over 16 ounces. Well, he's absolutely right. But he's going to make this government policy. Okay, so let's just look at this for a second. He makes this government policy. He makes it a law. You can't sell sodas over 16 ounces.
You just buy two 12-ounces.
You just buy two 12-ounces. But the point is, let's say he implements this. It's very, you know what, it brings about awareness. People actually do get healthier. They're able to measure this somehow. But that's Bloomberg. He puts it into play. But then his successor, because it actually is showing, and I don't think it would have anything to do with his law. It would just have to do with the awareness that went along with it. But then his successor comes along and criminalizes a 32-ounce container, criminalizes activities that otherwise wouldn't be criminal. You know, this buckling up the dog. The fine for not buckling up your dog is higher than the fine for not buckling up your child.
Exactly.
That's where it goes to. It isn't the initial thought. The initial thought is well intended, and it really does have a basis in better human behavior, healthier human behavior.
Yeah, but you can't have the government telling you what size drink you can have.
Exactly, because the ramifications of this is you end up criminalizing the 32-ounce container. And then you end up with a bureaucracy that's going to roam the streets to make sure that, oh, there's somebody with a really big cup. Is there water in the cup or is there Coke in the cup?
Absolutely, Governor.
Yeah.
No, it's going to give the police total excuses to get involved in our lives. It's a nightmare. Let's talk to, there's so many callers here. Let's talk to Keith in Pennsylvania. You're on the air with Governor Johnson. Go ahead.
How you guys doing?
Pretty good.
Real quick, I wanted to let you know how I woke up. I was laid off of my job in 2009, and I all of a sudden had all this time on my hands to do research and find things out. And it also led me to a hobby of mine, which turned into my career of playing poker online, and that's how I made my living. I'm sure you guys are aware of everything that's going on with that now. So I was just curious to know where Gary Johnson stands on, me being able to make a living with online poker.
Yeah, where are you on online? Where are you on online gaming, sir?
Well, I reached out to the poker players. This was well over a year ago, and said this is crazy. This should be a U.S. enterprise. And that the government bans it, and then so all poker players have to play poker online with offshore enterprises dictating it. Well, then the Justice Department cracks down on that. So what we've done is we've taken away 10 million Americans a passion for playing poker online, and we've taken that away. We're going to allow them to go into a casino, though, where they have to lose hundreds of dollars.
Well, that's what it's about. It's about going and doing rigged slot machines instead of having fun playing poker. And it's the same Justice Department caught shipping guns into Mexico to blame the Second Amendment. Thank you, caller. Governor, what's your...
And then here's another thing. Oh, all right, I'm a mountain biker. That's my passion. So I am riding my mountain bike on public trails that are now being subject to being closed to my mountain bike. But horses are allowed on those same trails. Horse excrement okay, but mountain bike tires not okay. That's the government, and this is online poker. Look, online poker. I should be able to play poker in this country, and I should be able to play poker in this country on a site that's owned by Americans, generating tens of thousands of jobs nationwide to accommodate the demand that goes along with online poker. But no, I can't do that, but I can go into a casino, and don't you know that the basis of all that legislation was the special interests, casino interests?
Of course, it's the real mafia not wanting you to be able to play poker with somebody. Amazing. Let's talk to Steve in Michigan on water fluoridation. Go ahead, Steve. Steve in Michigan, you're on the air with Gary Johnson. You have a water fluoridation question? I really wanted to hear that question. I can hear the guy breathing. We'll put him on hold. Kevin, you're on the air with Governor Gary Johnson. Go ahead.
Thank you, Alex. I'm a former proud liberal Democrat who in '08 became a Ron Paul supporter. Big government was being used. I felt the money was never getting to where it was promised, and then I really responded to Ron Paul's answer to corruption. I've supported him in 12. I do not feel any anguish about the Rand Paul endorsement. He can do what he wants. I feel grateful that we have a libertarian candidate that's on the ballot in all 50 states. I'm hopeful that the other libertarians and constitutionalists join and can switch over en masse and support Johnson's campaign. It would be just as if Ron Paul did switch over and do the third party.
Yeah, we need to turbocharge that and really work to make sure he gets coverage. Thank you so much. Governor Johnson, comments on what he just said.
Oh, just right on. All I'm getting on today, all I'm asking is give me a look. Gary Johnson 2012, give me a look. See if anything that I have done suggests that I am anything about big government, if I am anything about taking away civil liberties. Arguably, I've done a better job of someone who's been in office of taking these interests on than anybody else, and that's what I'm putting myself out there as.
Well, you certainly did what you said you would do as governor, even though I disagree with you on a few issues. The fact that you do what you say you're going to do, I mean, that is such a rare political resource that I'm going to support you. I'm not going to support Mitt Romney.
Run for your mind.
Final segment with Governor Gary Johnson here. Up at Infowars.com, here's some of the headlines. Tom Woods, Ron Paul, don't endorse Mitt Romney, the video of that. Ron Paul 2012, should listen to Ron Paul 2008, that full video. Chuck Baldwin warns Ron Paul. U.S. congressmen demand justification for drone strikes. So is Rand Paul doing a good job there. Transhumanism agenda enforced with nano weapons. The nanny state is here. Life in occupied America with a Cade. Nigel Farage, member of the EU Parliament. The Euro Titanic has now hit an iceberg. And so much more at Infowars.com. Okay, Steve in Michigan, you were away from the phone, but I want to hear your fluoridation question. Go ahead for Gary Johnson. You're on the air with the governor.
Hey, Gary. First of all, I want to say I know you mean well, and you have an acute understanding of fiscal policy and the financial debacle we face as a nation. However, when you visited Michigan State University last year, you were hosted by the Young Americans for Liberty student organization, and I asked you a couple questions. One had to deal with fluoridation of municipal water supplies, to which you responded without hesitation, shrugging your shoulders, saying, well, my dentist says it's good, so it can't be that bad. And then also I asked you about Janet Napolitano's See Something, Say Something campaign, to which you kind of likened it to a neighborhood watch, and you said maybe it's not a bad thing. So I know you're not a bad guy, but I want to hear your rebuttal, maybe flesh it out what you meant.
Okay, thank you, caller. The issue of See Something, Say Something, let's take that first. Their point is, though, they want to get us all tattletaling on each other, and it creates this fear that terrorists are hiding under the table.
Well, look, if See Something, Say Something is reporting to the authorities that your parents are smoking pot and then your parents end up in jail, which is, we've seen instances of this all the time. No, that's not a good thing. So, Steve, I really always want to be honest and forthright. And the See Something, Say Something in terms of no TSA, in terms of no Homeland Security, and gee, if you really do see something, that you should report it.
Exactly. I mean, if I see somebody doing something illegal, I will call the police or do something myself. You're for getting rid of Homeland Security. I mean, that answers, you said that before he came on.
Well, so my point is that this is the kind of thing, without government, this is the kind of a thing that we can rely on. Fluoridation. Look, I don't want to make it a federal government program to fluoridate the water, but if your city's fluoridating the water and it's something that you're absolutely opposed to, then that's where that issue should reside, not certainly with the federal government.
Sure, I think those are good answers, and we can further educate you on those things. Real fast, let's talk to Dan in New Mexico. Last caller we have time for. Sorry to the other callers. Dan, go ahead.
Hello, Governor Johnson. Calling from Albuquerque here, and we definitely support you. Definitely, no doubt about it. Here in Vantana Ranch, I got my sign up. A couple things. First is I'd like you to address how you would get homeschoolers better supported.
We only got about a minute and a half. Okay, homeschoolers. What else?
And number two is that I do think that you can win. I think it's a money issue. I'd like to help with that. I'd like to call the Utah office. Can you give me a name to talk to?
Get online, GaryJohnson2012.com. Talk to Grant. And,
okay, thank you. We got to jump, but folks, even if the point of supporting is to get the word out. Bottom line, you only lose by not trying. Governor, real quick, what's your view on homeschooling and the assaults on that?
Well, I'm an absolute supporter of homeschooling. So when it comes to the federal government and what should the federal government do regarding education, abolish the Federal Department of Education. Give all this back to the states, 50 laboratories of innovation and best practice, and that's exactly what we'll have. But get the federal government out of education. Established in 1978, look at educational performance from 1978.
It's gone straight down. Governor?
Nothing to suggest value added.
Absolutely. Candidate for president. Thank you so much, Gary Johnson. Big show tonight on TV, 7 o'clock. Prisonplanet.tv.